If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build 'em up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. For more classic poetry read in a British accent, please visit www.norwichenglish.co.uk.
Hi, and welcome to this, a lecture in the series of lectures on C# programming. This particular lecture looks at if, else, and switch case statements. And as always, it's your Dr. Peter O'Neill. So first of all, let's have a look at the basic if statement. Within our software applications, we need to be able to make decisions. Therefore, we can use an if statement, as here. So int mark. Mark converted to int32, open brackets, my dialog, input box, enter your mark, close brackets, semicolon. So we get basically the mark from the user, and then we evaluate the mark. If mark greater than equal to 40, then message box show you've passed. Close brackets. So notice this is basically saying if the condition of mark is greater than 40, then we go into the squiggly brackets and we display the first thing underneath those. Here we're only dealing with the condition if it's true. Basically between the open parentheses, squiggly parentheses, and the closed squiggly parentheses. Here is our condition. So notice it says mark greater than equal to. Then do the true. So if the condition is met, you do true. Now let's introduce the else element of the if statement. However, with the inclusion of the else into the statement shown here, so int mark become converted to int32, my dialogues, input box, enter your mark, close brackets, semicolon. Please remember that the my dialogues returns a string, hence that's why we need to convert to int32, so we convert it into an integer so we may evaluate it, as we are doing here within our if statement. So here, if mark greater than equal to 40, then pass if it's true, else open squiggly brackets, display failed, close squiggly brackets. So now our condition, if it's true, does the first element, but if it's false, does the else element. So basically, we can think of our first element of if as always being true in the condition, and the second element after else has always been the false. So let's have a look again at if else in a little more detail. So int mark convert to int32. If mark is greater than 40, then do this, you've passed or passed. Else, open squiggly brackets, you've failed, close squiggly brackets. So let's quickly go through that again, and finally we've got a done. So here we go. Condition, start if true here, print out true message, end true condition, start false condition, print out false condition, end false condition, and always print out the message outside of the if statement, as the if statement doesn't have any condition on it at all because it's not actually impacting on that line. Okay, so here are C# comparison operators. So equals is equal to, exclamation mark equals is not equals to. With the bird beak pointing to the right, it's greater than. So I always look at the left hand side. If it's wide, it's greater. If it's narrow, it's less. So now we've got less than or equal to, or greater than equal to. They are also called relational operators. We can also combine several conditions using logic operators. For example, ampersand ampersand equals and. Two pipes equals or. Here we are, conditions. Let's set some variables. M equals 1. N equals 2. X equals 3.67. Y equals 0.0. Now let's evaluate them. So n, remember we're using the brackets at each time. So n greater than 3, sorry, n less than 3, yeah, and m equals 1. Well, yes, n is less than 3 because it equals 2. M does equal 1. Therefore, because both conditions on both sides of the AND, it is true. Now, n less than 3 or m equals 1. And the answer is, of course, is either one of them true? And the answer is yes. They are both in this instance true, but if one of them was, then it still would be true. Now, n less than 3 and x greater than equal to 4. Answer? Well, n, yes, is less than 3. However, x is less than 4.0. It's 3.627. So therefore, because it's an AND, both conditions need to be true, and they're not. Therefore, we get a false. And finally, n less than 3 or x greater than equal to 4. Answer? Yes, true. The reason why is either one of them on one side must be true, and n is less than 3. So it doesn't matter about the other side, it gets the true remark. Code selection. In addition to if-else, in VB is else-if. However, C# does not have this, or at least it didn't when this recording was made. However, I believe it will be made available shortly. But we can still create that impact. For example, if mark greater than 70, if mark greater than equal to 70, because we want it inclusive, then we want to output a distinction. Else, then we can have an open bracket and an if inside that, which when you think about it is the equivalent of an else if, but we're making them two separate statements. If mark greater than 40, greater than equal to 40, then passed. Else, no matter what else, we'll have failed because we're not above 40. Okay? But remember, we've got the if statement inside the else, so then we need to close off our else. Okay? And finally, message box show done, which has nothing to do with the if statement at all. So, if the first condition is met, we're greater than equal to 70, distinction. If the second condition is met, then we've passed. Otherwise, we have failed. But we will always have done. Multiple statements within the bounds of an if. So, at the moment, we've only put if messagebox.show. This is one statement. However, what if we wanted to put two statements in? That's quite simple, and it's why we use the open curly brackets and the closed curly brackets. So, if mark greater than equal to 40, open squiggly brackets. Well done, message box. Another message box, passed. Close brackets. Else, Open squiggly brackets. Sorry, try again. Failed. Close squiggly brackets. And always done. So here we have multiple statements within our true statement. And we have multiple statements within our false statement. However, note, done always gets done. Switch case. The switch case basic format with numbers is int val becomes converted to int32, my dialogues, input box, enter a value. Close brackets, semicolon. Notice we've got two closed brackets, one for the my dialogues and one for the int32. Then we've got switch value, open squiggly brackets, and then in the case of it being 1, show message box, value is 1. Break. In the case of it being 2, show value is 2. Break. Default message. The value is another value entered. So in this instance, we're only responding to 1, 2, and any other key that is pressed. Okay? Or any other number that is pressed. Notice that the breaks are between. Otherwise, once it gets to the first one, it will run continuously till it gets a break. Finally, we close our curly brackets, or our squiggly brackets. So we get the value from our user, which is a string. We convert it into an integer, and we put it into int value. We then evaluate int value. So we look at the value, and then if value is a 1, we put out that. If it is a 2, we put out that. And anything else, we put out that. And note that the breaks go between each, or after each capture or case statement. Okay. The switch basic format with strings. So here we are. Notice now we've got my dialogues input box, enter your name, and just string name. So name becomes whatever we've typed in, and we've now got it switching on our name. And we're opening up the squiggly brackets, and now we're looking for the case of Peter. And then we're outputting the message box, hello Peter, followed by a break. Or hello John, if it says John, followed by a break. Please note these are case sensitive. They must be a perfect capture. Okay? Default it'll say, sorry, don't know you. But I do not know you. Break. And close switch. So, like the if statements, this is a condition. But instead of it being a true or false condition, it tells us to look in our case statements to see if anything is a match. If it is a match, then you run it. So if it's Peter, you run this one. And so on. Switch case groups. So int value convert to int32. My dialogues enter a value. Switch val. Open squiggly brackets. Case 1. Case 2. Value is 1 or 2. Break. Case 10 to 20. Break. Default. The value is any other value entered. Break. Now this is wrong. However, this is correct, along with the default one, which is also correct. Any questions, please email me or speak to me during your tutorial session. Thank you for your time. I hope you've enjoyed this recording.